Good morning, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. Well, I am excited about this morning. This is a Saturday morning, and it is very still, very quiet. I don't see the breeze in the trees at all. It's just very calm morning. The sun has just come up, and I could just hear the air conditioner blowing in the distance, but other than that, it is just a very still morning here in my Zone 6 New England urban English cottage garden. And things are just looking so good. The annuals have definitely kicked in, and you can see the white just popping here in the garden, and of course the red and other colors are picking up the light as well. But definitely it just looks really fresh and great here in the garden. So welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. Hello there, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. Well, my name is Catherine, and you're here with me in my English-style cottage garden in the city of Boston, the northeast of the United States of America, Zone 6. And I have been gardening and just going in and observing the garden, and also doing some light maintenance work in the garden. But I've also done some major work, and I want to share that with you today. Today is Saturday, July 8th, 2023, and a lot of things have been happening in the garden. The garden has been going through its transition from spring to summer. If you have not subscribe to Catherine's Garden and Home, what is keeping you back? Come on, join us here at Catherine's Garden and Home. So I have had to cut back and deadhead and remove things, and one of the things that I had to fix was this, my zinnia. When I went out this morning, it was toppled over. I don't know if it was a cat or something that had knocked over my zinnia, but this is one of the first zinnias that I'm getting for the season, and what a beautiful color. And I am not going to just throw it away. No, I decided that I would bring it up here on the deck and enjoy it, and also share it with you, my gardening friends. So I hope that all is well with you, and I hope that you're doing well in your gardens. But I want to take you around the garden here at Catherine's Garden and Home and show you the changes that I have made to different areas and sections of the garden. And the reason why I made these changes was because they were starting to become overgrown and looking very tattered. So I decided that change was now. Yes, that change is now, and that I had to put in the changes in the garden. One of the things that I want to point out to you that's happening in the garden right now at this moment as we speak is that my Casablanca Lilies, they are beginning to open up. Do you see that? Soon my garden is going to be filled with the fragrance of lily. It can be a strong, intoxicating kind of scent if you're not used to it, but I look forward to it because I know that we're in July, and it is part of the summer smells. The essence of the garden is its scent, and the lilies definitely bring that to the table. It just lets us know that we're in the middle of summer. So soon we're going to have just a full explosion of beautiful white blooms. But right now we're beginning the process. As you can see, I got these lilies from Costco, and they've been in the ground, I would say, for about 3 or 4 years now. And at first when I planted them in, they were about, I would say, 2 feet tall. But now they have really soared. And I have 2 batches. I have this one here on this side of the garden. And then as I move this slowly over, you can see the other cluster of lilies, Casablanca lilies. And they are really tall. They love that section over there. They've really grown tall. They're actually taller than the first side that I showed you. And I think they're about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 or 9 bulbs were in the package. And I do like to plant things close, as you could tell, because I just like that full look. I really don't like it looking so spaced out and scattered. And so it's going to really be a good show for July, and these Casablanca lilies in the garden, and also offer a beautiful, beautiful fragrance and a memory of this time. I have to say that each year is different, and this year the lilies, these Casablanca lilies, are a statement piece, a featured a perennial bulb in my garden. And every time I see them, it just makes me want to buy more. Hello and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home. My name is Catherine, and I'm here in the Boston area in the Northeast of the United States of America, and I am in Zone 6. Well, I have been out in my garden walking around and looking at the different plants and seeing what has changed and what needs fixing and doing some observation. Well, I want to take you around to show you some of the changes that I've made, and to also discuss with you how we can continue to improve our garden. That now is not the time to stop and think, well, this is it. No, there's now the maintenance, and that's where we are right now in my garden, Catherine's Garden and Home. We're at the stage of maintaining what we have, and so that requires that we edit the garden. Well, I don't know about your garden, but in my garden I have thugs, and one of them is my variegated grass. When I first saw the variegated grass, it was so beautiful. I loved it. I saw it in a person's yard, and I said, could I get a piece of that? And she said, oh sure, I have plenty. Well, she did of course have plenty, because that thing ran rampant through her bed. And so I put some in my bed and it grew, and then I started dividing it and putting it in different parts of the garden. And if you don't pull it out and monitor it, it will take over. Well, it started doing that in a bed that I have right underneath the deck, or the side of the deck here, and I decided that it was starting to look too messy. I also had some hostas, Sir Francis William hostas, and I decided that I was going to use them to decorate another part of the garden. So come with me and let me show you what I did, and also take you around a little bit and let you see what the garden looks like. And let's have a good Saturday morning here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. I also want to point out to you the fact that I redesigned this bed, the center bed. And the reason why is because it was getting very full and looking cluttered, and the plants that were there, they had already bloomed and it was about to go to seed. It had a more, I would say, woodland-y look. I don't know if that's a word, but it looked more like woodsy, you know, shade. And the thing is it was getting very messy. So I decided to remove what was there in the past and redesign this area. And actually every year I end up doing that, because right under this tree I have, for the spring, purple sensation alliums and these this woodland like plant with the yellow flowers. And was just looking very condensed and clogged. And what I did was remove all of that, removed the spent purple cessation allium stalks, pulled them out, cut them down, and also cut down some trees and things that I really didn't want anymore there. And it really opened up the space, and it allowed the so it has allowed the rhododendron here to get some sunlight and to also grow much more bigger, because it has a beautiful purple bloom in the spring, late spring, so pretty. But it was being shrouded by that bush. And then next to it here, you'd never know that is a hydrangea that I've had there for, it's a lace cap hydrangea actually, that I've had there for about 10 years or so. And I was wondering, is it still alive? So when I did see that some of the, that it has new shoots, new stems there, that I definitely had to give it some air, you know, give it some circulation and allow it to grow back and be healthy. So we're going to take a closer look at this, and I'm going to show you what has been done. Okay, so now I'm down on ground level, and this is what the garden looks like from this space. I just wanted to point out here, look at that. Those are my allium drumsticks. I love alliums. What you're hearing are firecrackers. I don't know. This is like 7 o'clock in the morning and people are up, you know, doing firecrackers. I mean, they must have been dreaming about it. But anyway, let's stay focused. Here is my hydrangea. Look at that. I have 3 blooms, I think, here. But you can kind of see how it's progresses. It starts off like this, really beautiful. And then it continues to change color. And I see here is a bloom in there. Because of the cold snap, they're very sensitive to cold. This Nico Blue hydrangea, the mop head style, they're very sensitive to cold in the spring, and a lot of the blooms can you know, just freeze. And I'm thankful though for this, but in a good year, this is just so beautiful, just covered with the blue mop head flowers. But you know, you take each year as it comes, and that's what we have right now. All right, so this is how this bed looks now. I filled in this space and just cleaned it up a lot around the bird bath. And because of the trees, we definitely are thinking about shade-loving plants. And so this garden space, I've kind of just, thought about plants that can appreciate sun, maybe 3 or 4 hours of sun, but that love the shade too, or a dappled shade. And that's what you see here. That's why this hydrangea does well here, especially for the morning when it's hot. It responds very well and it's perky. It looks good. But then in the middle of the day, when the sun moves across, and especially later on, then you can see the leaves of the hydrangea just shrinking back and so forth. But anyway, yeah, so here in the bird bath I have hostas surrounding it, and also bearded iris. And I like this. At first I just had hostas, and I added the bearded iris, and this year they bloomed. They looked so beautiful. But that is over now, and I think this is a very peaceful look here, what we have here. And then here we have this hosta. Now this is the first circle of that I added to the garden. This was, just think of this as all grass. The whole garden area was just grass when we first got here. And I wanted a garden, and this is like the first planting or bed that we created, my husband and myself. And then there was another area. We had 2 circles in the yard. And we planted these hostas. Now the hostas were here, and we just cut and divide, and they just filled in. For this year, I put this pot here that I got from Ocean Job Lot, and those geraniums are the geraniums that I saved from last year by cleaning up the geraniums, taking off all the dirt, putting them in paper bags and in a box, and then putting it in a box and storing it away in a dry, dark location. And then in the spring I took them out of the box, soaked them in water, soaked the roots in water, and then planted it in these pots, and they came back, and now they're flowering, taking center stage here. So let's just take a deeper look, or closer look at what I did. Here I just love how it has that woodsenly look, and in this we have beautiful amenities which have these little white flowers. You could see that, and earlier in the spring there, this whole space was filled with these little white flowers. And then I also have lily of the valley in here, and bleeding hearts, which these bleeding hearts come back, the little pink flowers that you see there. And we have bishop's weed, which is so pretty. I like the variegated bishop's weed, and they've just created this nice little ground coverage space. But over here was just a big hot mess. So I dug up this area, removed those plants that were here, and I have these hostas from other parts of the garden. I can name one of them. This one right here, this is Sir Francis William, and I had this for a long time in the garden. I had bought it bare root and had in this different area, and that area is evolving, and the hosta, it was getting crowded, so I decided to dig it up and to move it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shoots there of that, the Sir Francis William. And then I have this here, I don't know the name, the variegated hosta with the white outside. That one came from my Aunt Tanti's garden, and I don't know the name of it, but it's different from the other one that is back there. It's different from that one. So the leaf color and the shape color is different. You could see the difference between the two. So I thought it would be beautiful to have them growing in together there with the different shapes. And they're going to fill out really full here, and it will look good too in the spring with the purple sensation alliums that are already under the ground. So for spring, this is going to look very, very pretty. Now, as you can see, impatiens do very well in my garden. So for some summer color, I've added these impatiens here. And then this pot is filled with zinnias. And I just threw the zinnia seeds in the pot, and I was thinking that I would then dig them out and as they grow up and put them in different parts of the garden. But I think it looks so good here under the tree in the pot here, this white pot. And it just adds, a touch of color with the impatiens. And then behind it, I just planted in some purple perilla as a filler, and that will grow up like a shrub also and give some more distinction of the green from the rhododendron and the hydrangea and the hosta. It just helps to break up that greenery and add a little more, a nice backdrop, I think, for that. And then also I planted over here 2 squash plants, because I have a lot of squash plants, and I figured it will be able to fill in these empty spaces here. And I love the leaves of the squash plant. And I have this variegated grass, which is a thug. I mean, it just takes over, and so I've been trying to dig it up and dig it out. But I know that will fill into and have some fresh greenery here. So this will, the squash will take up this space, all of that. It will help to cover up that space and all of this other space here, the empty space in this bed. But for right now, I just like how it looks, and I'm looking forward to seeing it grow in. This particular corner is just filled with plants, and they are getting larger and larger, and I love it. I love it. I'm going to have to go in though and do some cutting back and weeding. But in the meantime, it's amazing to see how the plants have grown over time. Before, this was, if you go back and think about March, it was not like this. And now here in the first week of July, look at all the growth and the different things that are coming to pass here in this. It's just a beautiful thing. Well, the hosta was taken from this area, and I've just been changing things around. I'm just trying to see what I can change and just updating things. So I have these hostas here, which are so pretty, and I also have another hydrangea. Now these are called milkweed, and they self-seeded themselves here, and it is so beautiful. The butterflies and the hummingbirds and other creatures love it here. I don't know what this bug is, but whatever. It's here on this. And so I decided that I will let them flower, and then when it starts to go to seed, that I would cut it down. But this milkweed has a beautiful fragrance, and it's just, I like the color. The fragrance is fantastic. I can smell it now. It's sweet and perfumey. It's wonderful. And so I've let it stay here. Now this is my rose bush, curly pink rose. It's a hybrid tea, and it's suffered a extreme dieback from the frost, that cold snap that happened. I think most people experienced that cold snap, and it really affected my roses in my garden. But it's coming back, so I'm so pleased, and I'm happy to see the blooms here. This makes me so happy. So I'm trying to remove some of this variegated grass. Well, I did remove a lot of it because it was just becoming out of control, and add a little more, instead of having all kinds of things just flowing through, I decided that I would work on this bed. And in the process, I ended up digging up those hostas here. All of this space right here had the Sir Francis William hosta, and and also the variegated grass. It was just looking like one big mess. So I decided to transfer the hostas from here over to that new area that I showed you. So this is where it got this. I got the hostas from dividing them. And check out my bee balm. Beautiful red. I think it's called Jacob's Ladder bee balm. Very pretty. Usually this whole area is filled with the Jacob Ladder's bee balm, but because of the aggressiveness of the grass, that white variegated grass, it actually smothered out the bee balm. Could you imagine that? That it actually shifted over here, because the bee balm was all in this space, in this area, and that grass just smothered it, and it had to shift to this location. Yeah. So now I'm hoping that it will go back. Hopefully I will be able to, after it flowers, to get some of the roots and put it back in that space, or get some other bee balm that I have to add with this. And then this plant here, this is my perennial hibiscus plant, which is coming up, and I'm excited about that it's returning. It's been here in my garden for quite a while, First time I saw the perennial hibiscus, I was just so infatuated by it that I bought it. And this is before they've upgraded and improved it. But it's a beautiful pink. I call it pinky hibiscus. I've given it my own name. And then back here is my grapevine that I planted 3 years ago, and I saw the video of it, planting it and putting it in a pot. My husband had bought it and he thought about having a grapevine, and I didn't know where I wanted to put it, so I put it in a pot, and it's down there. It's in that pot right there. And for the last 3 years, it's been in this space. So what I need you to do is to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell for more videos here from Catherine's Garden and Home. And that way you can follow me in my journey, my gardening journey. So far we've had the spring season, now we're transitioning into the summer season, but the best is yet to come. That is, of course, fall and harvest time, even though we're starting to harvest now. So come on and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and be a part of our gardening family here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. For more videos, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time right here in Catherine's Garden. Bye.